So let's take a look at a Blackboard course so we can see what this is going to look like for you. So very first thing you want to do is go to our website. Again, that same website I referred to in my first video. And once we're on that website, let me open this totally up. Over here on the far right is a link to Blackboard. So if you link to Blackboard, it takes a moment. Now, what you're seeing on the screen is only part of the screen. I am already logged in, but you're probably seeing a login that's asking for your ID and your password. This is the same ID and password that you used to get into your email. Now, you should have a list of courses that you are currently enrolled in when you go into Blackboard. And you'll want to click into your instructor's course, whichever one it might be. Now, I am going to show you this one here. And let me move this window over a little bit so you can see the left-hand part of the screen. All right, now, typically, you will see different buttons in here depending upon what your instructor likes to put into their menu. There is generally a syllabus or a Start Here button, which will have, if it will head there in a second, which will have information about getting started in the course. Notice here's a thing of telling my students how to get started. But also the syllabus will be included there. Your instructor might have an introduction like I do right here. There might be a calendar, and then there might be other details underneath this button. And generally, it's the first place you want to look when you go to your online course. See what your instructor has listed to get started. Now, depending again on your instructor, you may have an announcements little area where you can go and see what kind of announcements your instructor has made. And of course, over here on the right, we can see all the announcements that I have made in this course, and scroll down and you'll be able to see any announcements that your instructor makes in your course. Now, people will organize their Blackboard course differently. You notice I have done it by exams, but some people will do it by units, by chapters, or they may even just have assignments in one spot, tests in another spot, and so forth. What you should do is look around when you get into the course. Don't be afraid to click on these major categories that are over here. So, for example, if we click on assignments for exam 1, and wait a moment as it's moving slowly, we see the information about the first assignments and instructions on what they should do, an introduction for chapter 1, and again, due dates. And if we go further into each one, we can continue to click. We'll see further things like a breakdown of sections. And as I said, don't be afraid to click through your course. The things that you don't want to click on, I'll show you in a second. But notice here's the book and videos for that section 1.1 that I clicked on. So I can click there to look at my books. The student can click there to look at their books and their videos. Here's the homework for section 1.1. Now, the things that you want to be careful about, homework is probably fine to click on in most of your courses. Your instructor should have some sort of directions down there telling you that if you open it, you won't be able to go back to it if it's something you shouldn't click on. So this notice doesn't have that. We can click on homework 1.1 and it's going to pop up as a Word document for the students. Others, though, will have submissions where you're going to submit whatever your assignment is. So there's the assignment for this statistics 1.1 section. All right, well, let's go back to Blackboard here and get out of this statistics thing here. All right, so do not be afraid to click through. But I'm going to go kind of back. Up here are kind of breadcrumbs at the top. So you'll notice I'm in section 1.1, but I can go back to chapter 1 without clicking all the way through the same sequence. And I'm going to go down to this one just to show you something that you shouldn't click on. All right, so notice there's this homework quiz. And it does say that if you read through the instructions that once you've opened it, you have to finish it. So something like this, that is a quiz or a test, those sort of things you don't want to explore and click through. You want to leave those for when they are due and when you're ready to take them. So watch very carefully for those kinds of instructions. You could click through other things, but don't click through anything that says quiz or test on it. So, for example, if we go back here to assignments for exam 1 and I scroll down to the bottom, you'll notice here's stat exam 1. Anything that says exam 1 or exam 2 or says exam, we do not want to click on and look through because we're going to have only one opportunity to open it and to do that exam. Anything else, though, like this review, these answers, etc., you can click into and explore what's there, and you'll know ahead of time what your instructor is expecting of you. There is also, generally, there'll be a help button, which will have Blackboard help if you need it. So notice this takes you to Blackboard Learn for Students, which has all these common issues if I go down the page. And if I go back, sometimes your instructor will have a calendar there. Sometimes there will be discussion boards, sometimes there won't be. You may notice that my calendar, when it pops up, has when an assignment is due on it, so I can click right there and it tells, okay, you've got 3.1, 3.2 homework quiz due on February the 6th. And then there should be a button. Even if these vary, there should be a button that says My Grades on it, where you can go and look up your grades. So, for example, here's a test that was due on January 20th, a homework quiz, etc. And then over to the right side, it should say your score. Let me just move this box so you can see it. Now, of course, mine has no scores there because I am the instructor for the course. But yours would have a score over here. And you can always, as long as your instructor has made it allowable, click on the assignment and review how you did on a quiz or an exam right here in your gradebook.